The only way to gain your wife's respect back that has the biggest impact by far, and John touched on this, and we've touched on this based on the priorities, but we're going to go a little bit deeper, are your terms, right? Knowing your terms. When you know your terms and you're not compromising who you are, you're being true to yourself, regardless if your wife is losing her shit, regardless if she's mad, regardless if she doesn't like it, but you're staying true to who you are, that creates a level of safety for your wife. The best way I can describe this is uh, imagine a sandpit and there's a boundary, right? The sandpit has borders. Let's say those 2x4s, right? 2x4 borders, right? So this is the border, inside is the sand. And you and your wife are playing in the sand. Well, the border are your terms, okay? And when your wife, you don't have to talk to your wife about your terms at all. In fact, we recommend not to. But when you know your terms as a man and you live by them, what happens is your wife becomes capable of managing the relationship within that boundary. And when she tries to manage outside of it, your terms are, they stay firm. You don't compromise who you are for the relationship. Okay? So that's a visual example of what terms are, how terms look like, and the impact it can have in your marriage. And when your wife knows your terms and she knows with what are the boundaries in which she can manage the relationship, it creates a huge level of safety for her. And it's a level of safety that gives her peace, confidence, calmness, and belief in the future, belief in you, that you are rock solid, that you are a stable partner for her. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Yeah.
yeah, and just to reiterate that she'll know the boundaries because of your actions, not because of you verbally communicating. Hey, honey, these are my terms. I'm a man that will provide for you. That's one of my terms. Because by verbally communicating, what she's going to do is go and test it. Next time she's splashing, she's in an argument with you, she'll be like, "But you said one of your terms is for to provide for me. And I'm asking for $1,000 to go shopping. How come you're not giving it to me? You're not living by your term." But through your actions built over a consistent period of time, she'll know, hey, if it's not in the budget, $1,000 isn't coming from you, or whatever. You know, in relation to your kids, one of your terms could be around protecting your family. And yeah, every night you will go and check the locks on all the doors in your house, irrespective of whether it's late, irrespective of whether you're being out, irrespective of whether you're annoyed with something at work. Part of your terms is she knows that about you. Um, and even if she's like, "Oh, honey, it's fine. I think I closed the door already." She knows you're going to get up out of bed and go check because it's a reflection of who you are as a man. It's not a reflection of who she is as a woman. That's where the level of ownership around terms comes in. Um, so yeah, it's the communication is through action. It's not the verbal communication.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next emphasis on this, which needs to be emphasized, is to never compromise them. So knowing your terms is one thing, but the not compromising them is such a critical component. Um, a lot of men at TBH, when they first start and they get clear on what their terms are, uh, they have this boost of confidence as a result of it. Uh, but their emotions get in the way and they start to notice, they become aware, holy cow, I these are all the places I'm compromising myself, right? Whether it's at work, whether it's with family, whether it's with kids, my wife, and it's very scary to them. So they don't even know these concepts of terms. Okay. Then once they get to know about them and they actually have their terms, they get clear. It goes from I didn't know what I didn't know to okay, now I know this stuff. But not compromising them is a different animal. Knowing your terms is step one. But then once you start to realize, holy cow, these are all the places I've compromised, and here's where I'm doing it now, you can then start to step into, okay, what's in the way? Why is it that I know my terms, but I'm not living by them? In most cases, generally speaking, it's because of emotions. So once a man starts to pull his bullets, get rid of his insecurities, then staying true to who he is as a man, not compromising his terms, becomes a lot more easier. Okay, it's almost always emotional outbursts, all this suppressed hurt piled up. Boom, the man gets triggered. The wife says something, does something, and then the man behaves outside of his terms and doesn't stay true to himself. Yeah. Anything you want to say on the not compromise? Because it's super, super important.
Super important, and yeah, it's another muscle that needs to be trained. And yeah, as you said, men come into TBH and they're like, their eyes get wide open because like, wow, I never knew this tool. Like, and we often speak about the tools and systems of TBH, but it's just a heightened awareness, and then they start to play back and they see, oh yeah, I did that. I compromised myself there in the past. I compromised myself there. I compromised myself as a father. Like I didn't always protect my kids or whatever it is. So the awareness is, uh, for them also powerful going forward. But they also get to reflect and go, to start to see the patterns of how not having the confidence and not being grounded in terms and not even having the awareness or the knowledge of how important terms are actually hurt them in the past. So it's pretty cool to see the awareness on both sides. And obviously, um, awareness is half the battle, but the awareness brings so much clarity for where that man is at. Whether he's 5 years into his marriage or 50 years into marriage, it's like, okay, now I'm putting a stake in the ground, and this is my new starting point, and I'm building from here, and that's perfectly fine. What's important is sticking the stake in the ground and actually building from that point.